right now from today's TMJ4.
This is Live at 5 Saturday.
Now at 5, a startling revelation about a deadly bacteria outbreak in Wisconsin. What the state knew but waited to tell the public. Hello, I'm Katie Crowther. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Elisabeth-Kingia epidemic started here in Wisconsin, but it's quickly spreading across the border to Illinois and Michigan. Health officials are scrambling to find the source. Now we're learning our state's Department of Health Services began investigating cases of the outbreak last year, exactly 3 months before they shared any information with the public. They told a station in Green Bay that they waited in order to do more research and not cause any unwarranted fear. So far, 18 deaths in Wisconsin have been linked to Elisabeth-Kingia. In Milwaukee, a woman taken from her home against her will by 2 men yesterday morning has been found. Neighbors called police after seeing 25-year-old Tamara Thompson screaming and fighting as she was abducted. She was found late last night in a home near 35th and Lisbon, and she was taken to the hospital. She's doing okay today. 31-year-old Anthony Perkins and a 21-year-old man were arrested. So far this year, the Red Cross has helped nearly 650 people affected by house fires in southeastern Wisconsin. Some local firefighters spent their Saturday making sure families have the first line of protection in place. Yona Gavino was with them as they visited dozens of homes. Yona?
Katie, you know what? A smoke detector, it only takes a couple of minutes to install, but not everyone has one or even enough. Now today, firefighters and volunteers spent the day helping out families and installing them for free.
Oh, good job, Brayden.
Debbie can't stand the thought of the devastation a fire could do.
In case of anything going wrong, I don't want my grandchildren or myself to be harmed.
In about 4 minutes, Debbie had a new smoke detector. Firefighters are zeroing in on neighborhoods they say have had the most fires.
It's devastating. You lose everything, and you don't want to lose your life, too.
It hasn't happened to her, but flames engulfed a neighbor's home years ago.
My mother had saw the smoke, and she lived a block away the opposite way, and she thought it was my house because it was a very bad fire.
This West Allis fire captain tells me there have been 11 fires in the last 3 years in a 32-block area.
A lot of times we have fires with people that don't have smoke detectors, and they get trapped on second or third floors because the fire engulfs the first floor before they're even notified.
Over in Milwaukee, Laura Gramling volunteered her time. Helping others is a personal mission for this circuit court judge.
I actually grew up just about a half mile from here, so I'm really glad to get out into the neighborhood and help out with it.
She brought fellow volunteers from the courts, and together they knocked on doors, educating residents about fire safety and escape plans. And the West Allis fire captain you heard from earlier in the package, he tells me his team knocked on about 20 to 30 homes, visited them, and they were actually able to install smoke detectors in about half of them. Live in Milwaukee, Yona Gavino, today's TMJ4.
All right, thanks, Yona. Milwaukee firefighters and paramedics stepped up for the homeless today. They provided free medical evaluations and checkups to people living in local shelters who often have no way of getting health care.
Because we're used to going into homes on a daily basis and meeting people we don't know, it's very easy for us to come into a shelter and establish a bond with a patient.
Where are the stickers? The city's homeless task force and Hyatt Pharmacy also helped with that effort. The village of Shorewood is looking to buy a new building to house its police department. Right now, the department shares a facility with the North Shore Fire Department, but the space is small, outdated, and in need of repairs. So the village is taking steps to purchase a building at Wilson and Capitol to convert into a new police department. That will be discussed at a village meeting Monday night. A new traffic alert for drivers. A new zipper merge is now in effect at the Zoo interchange. It will affect traffic there for the next several months. It begins along 894 North at National Avenue. 3 lanes will be cut to 2. There will also be new ramp closures at Highway 100, National Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, and Greenfield Avenue. Well, it was a perfect day to welcome the season's first Sprecher beer truck. It showed up at Milwaukee County Historical Society, which hosted a special family day. There were home brewing demonstrations and lots of other activities showcasing our area's strong beer history. Well, pretty soon, all the awesome beer gardens will be open. Today's weather is what we have been waiting for. This is a live look right now from Port Washington. Look at how gorgeous it looks out there. I could not believe how many people I saw enjoying the outdoors on my way to work along Milwaukee's lakefront. So, Stocksdale, how long will it stay like this?
Oh, for a while, Katie. What a day, what a day, what a mighty fine day. Welcome to the Weather Center, everybody. It is always great to have you as part of the family here on today's TMJ4. A live look from our downtown tower cam. Looking to the north-northwest, we are perched atop Discovery World Museum with not a cloud in the sky. Awesome is your weather word. Not just awesome, but awesome with an exclamation mark. Sunny and warm weather will continue for the balance of this weekend into the beginning of next week. 63 degrees outside right now matches the high temperature of the day officially at Milwaukee's Mitchell, but much warmer 70s inland. So if you're heading out of the town early tonight, our temperatures dropping to either side of 60 with clear skies. Looks like a starry sky tonight. I'll let you know the one day in the coming week when we could see some rain. Your storm team forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Decision 2016 coverage now. Just days before the pivotal New York primary, the presidential candidates are working around the clock and crisscrossing the country. Chris Pallone has the latest from the campaign trail.
While campaigning in upstate New York, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump continued his assault on the Republican Party.
The Republican National Committee, they better get going, because I'll tell you what, you're going to have a rough July at that convention.
Trump hasn't matched rival Ted Cruz's ground effort in states like Colorado and Wyoming. Cruz is poised to pick up a dozen more delegates in the cowboy state.
If you don't want to see Donald Trump as the nominee, if you don't want to hand the general election to Hillary Clinton, which is what a Trump nomination does, then I ask you to please support the men and women on this slate.
Trump instead is focusing on Tuesday's New York primary and its big haul of delegates.
And I'm going to be very loyal to New York State. I'm going to be loyal because this is my place.
The latest polls show John Kasich overtaking Cruz for second place in the Empire State. On the Democratic side, Senator Bernie Sanders took 24 hours off the campaign trail to attend a conference at the Vatican. Invited by Pope Francis, Sanders briefly met with the pontiff before returning to the campaign.
And in terms of economic justice, the need to combat climate change, nobody in the world has been more profound and articulate than the Pope.
Frontrunner Hillary Clinton is attending fundraisers and campaigning in Los Angeles, but New York is clearly on her mind.
Let's take California values and New York values and put them to work for American values.
Clinton returns to New York Sunday, trying to secure a huge victory against Sanders in the state she now calls home. Chris Pallone, NBC News, New York.
Coming up on Live at 5, while we have our best weather day of the year so far here in Wisconsin, other parts of the country are experiencing some very severe conditions. We'll take you where Mother Nature is wreaking havoc. And if you have vacation plans this summer, you need to watch this next story, what the state of Wisconsin and the federal government are warning about. For your health now, concerns over Zika virus have federal officials considering some unprecedented recommendations. There's discussion about advising women to delay pregnancy because of potential risks. Jessica Arp has a reaction from Wisconsin officials on what we should be doing.
Following a CDC report confirming that the Zika virus causes severe birth defects in babies, news has come that the federal agency is considering a recommendation for childbearing women to delay pregnancy.
Never before have our federal officials told women in particular regions of the United States not to become pregnant.
In Wisconsin, there's been no confirmation of Zika virus from travelers, and the species of mosquito that transmits the virus is so far not found here, leading area doctors to urge caution more for couples planning to travel.
For women who are planning to travel to, say, Florida or Texas or areas along the Gulf Coast, we tell them it's kind of a risk-benefit ratio and kind of an individualized decision for each person.
But as the weather turns warmer, there's also an increased awareness of mosquito breeding and the chance that the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads Zika could eventually come to the state.
And if we can avoid the tires laying around or the, cans or flower pots or whatever is going to collect water, even your gutters backing up. Clearing out your gutters is going to allow that water to flow and no longer, be a source for the mosquitoes.
The county and state plan on monitoring for that warm weather mosquito, but in the meantime are reminding everyone to be on defense.
You want to be mindful of, what's happening around you. If you start seeing mosquitoes, definitely get the repellent out and start doing those practices of avoiding bites.
Mosquitoes typically begin to come out in mid-May, but experts say an extended stretch of warm weather could bring them out sooner this year. Still ahead on Live at 5, sunshine and 70s. Stocksdale lets us know how long this stretch of spring weather sticks around as we leave with that beautiful shot of Milwaukee. Plus, spring snow and tornadoes. A look at the crazy weather hitting other parts of the country this weekend. Welcome back. More news now. Rescuers are racing to reach people trapped in their collapsed homes after 2 strong earthquakes hit Japan. More than 40 people have been killed after the quakes and a series of aftershocks over 2 days. More than 1,500 people are hurt and hundreds of thousands remain without electricity or water. Crazy weather hitting across our country. Some parts could be digging out from a foot of snow, while others dealing with tornadoes. 2 tornadoes touched down in the Oklahoma Panhandle yesterday evening. The storm knocked down telephone lines and caused power outages, but the damage was mostly done in rural areas. In Colorado, people waking up this morning to a fresh blanket of snow. Forecasters say that more than a foot could fall in parts of the state by the time the storm is done tomorrow. People there are also dealing with very strong winds. A much different story here in southeast Wisconsin. We are finally enjoying a beautiful spring weekend. Hopefully it lasts. Meteorologist Scott Steele is here with the forecast. Hey, Scott.
Happy Saturday, Katie, and everyone. And by the way, love snow this time of year in Colorado. Love blue skies and our warm temperatures around southeastern Wisconsin. Welcome to the Weather Center and a live look from our Waukesha County Tower Cam looking toward Pewaukee. Beautiful blue skies overhead. In the distance, just some thin clouds affecting western sections of the state. In your weather headlines around here, crystal clear skies coming our way tonight. Lots of stars out. A sunny Sunday on the way. And the climb continues as temperatures will be well above average. Speaking of which, outside right now, 60s and 70s. All across our viewing area. 63 officially at Milwaukee's Mitchell International, 65 down in Racine, and 66 Nitschke's in Kenosha. But inland locations away from the cooler Lake Michigan waters into the 70s. 74 right now for you fine folks joining us in Watertown. 70 in Waukesha and West Bend, also even in Sheboygan, and 73 in Beaver Dam. That is a change of between 5 and 10 degrees warmer compared to where we were yesterday at this time. Our winds generally off Lake Michigan, which is why it's much cooler here in our eastern communities. But the wind's not terribly strong, and so it won't be much of a factor certainly as we go through the night tonight. Look at this. The contrast across our state, almost 20 degrees, 63 in Milwaukee, 82 in La Crosse, 80 in Des Moines, 76 in St. Louis. So amazingly above average temperatures continue across the Great Lakes. So off to our west, an area of showers and even a few thunderstorms lifting generally from south to north, not making much eastward progress along with a stationary frontal boundary. And we have this easterly component to the wind with high pressure off to our east, drawing in very dry air. So that's going to stay off to our west at least for a few days. As we zoom in to southeastern Wisconsin, again, crystal clear skies, and future forecast shows for the foreseeable future, no disturbances to speak of. So your storm team forecast for tonight, you expect to see starry skies, clear and mild, down to the mid-40s eventually. Then for tomorrow, beautiful sunshine out there again. Very warm, up to about 73 degrees, but once again cooler along the lake. Here comes your storm team for a 7-day forecast, and we'll continue in the low 70s on Monday, cooler lakeside. Then we drop behind a weak cold front that will not produce any precipitation of import. On Tuesday, readings only up to about 56, pretty close to where we should be. And that's where we'll stay, near 60 degrees as we head through much of the rest of the upcoming work week. Now, weather day at Miller Park Thursday. Wouldn't you figure? Best opportunity to get rain. But that's okay, Katie, because you know what they did?
What?
They built a roof at Miller Park.
That's right.
Just for weather day.
That is always one of the best days of the year. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, Scott. Coming up in sports, the Marquette men's lacrosse team honors their seniors on their last home game of the season. What sets this group of seniors apart from every other team in the nation?
If the Brewers can pick up another win against the Pirates today, they'd be over the 500 mark for the first time since finishing the 2014 season 82-80. Not really a stat you brag about, but this you can brag about. Ryan Braun gets his team off to a good start yesterday in Pittsburgh. 437 feet, Braun's first home run of the night. It came in the sixth to give the Brewers a 5-zip lead. 2 innings later, Braun again with another shot to center, his 23rd career multi-homer game. And Jimmy Nelson with another solid start. He tossed 6 scoreless innings. He improved to 2-1 with a 2.79 ERA. Braun on his starting pitcher.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's really been dominant his first 3 starts, so it's really encouraging. I really believe in him. I think he's the type of guy that has a chance to take a step forward, become an ace for us. So hopefully he continues to do what he's done over the first few games.
The Brewers showing a lot of discipline at the plate last night against the Pirates. Walks, 2-out hits have led to runs on the board, and it's those quality at-bats that aren't going unnoticed by Brewers' new general manager, David Stearns.
I think really throughout the roster, we've been pleased with certainly the effort and quality of at-bats that we've gotten throughout the lineup, and that's something that we've stressed and emphasized throughout spring training, is to be able to really have competitive at-bats 1 through 9 in the lineup, and we've been able to do that so far.
It seemed like the UWM basketball storm passed after they announced the hiring of new head coach LaVall Jordan. But Bill Johnson, the team's play-by-play radio commentator, announced his retirement yesterday on Instagram. And on his way out, Johnson with some strong words about the athletic department, saying in part, quote, "Never have so many competent, talented people been run off by such a talentless group of entitled bureaucrats. No matter how much the coaches, players, and support staff care, they can't overcome incompetent administrators." UWM responded with a statement saying in part, quote, "We believe his comments are unwarranted and unfair and are likely motivated by his own suspension from his position in February for making racially insensitive remarks during the broadcast of a Panther game." Johnson was allowed to return to his duties after apologizing to a player and the coach of an opposing team. 19, that's the number of seniors the Marquette men's lacrosse team honored this morning on Senior Day against Providence. So with nearly 20 ready to graduate, that's the largest senior class in the nation. This year's senior class has played in every game the Golden Eagles have ever played. This year the team posts an 8-2 record, undefeated in the Big East, and they keep it that way with an 8-7 win over Providence today. Congrats to them. This is the first weekend I'm not showing you Bucks highlights. Of course, the team's season ended 3 days ago with a loss and a 33-49 overall record, 12th in the Eastern Conference. And now many wondering what head coach Jason Kidd's fate will be, really except him.
That's up to them, the contract extension. I still have a year under my deal, so my job now is to look at, who can help us, offensively and defensively. Also look at looking at a vet, being able to have a guy who's won, who understands what it takes to win in a uniform, and then talk to the owners in what direction they want to go.
That's sports. We're back after this.
Somebody won last night's Badger 5 lottery, so tonight's estimated jackpot is back down to $10,000. And here are last night's Mega Millions numbers: 9, 10, 34, 37, 73. The Mega Ball is 9 and the Mega Plier is 5. Time for a final check of the weather now.
Oh, you want to spend a lot of time talking about weather?
Yeah, let's just talk about the weather.
Now we do.
Gorgeous outside.
We're both in our spring dresses.
Yes.
Yeah, my springy tie.
Yeah, you have a springy tie.
Take you around the clock. Lots of clear skies, sunshine during the day, and stars at night.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us on Live at 5. We hope to see you back here at 6. NBC Nightly News. Spring is next. Look at us.